Okay, I've been told I have bad camera work, which very fair critique. I do have very bad camera work, but directed camera usually does a pretty good job of panning to the action. So I'm going to try to resist my urge to control the camera manually this game, and just let directed camera do all the work. One thing I will do here is, because this is the first time I'm actually doing this for a blind pick, we have a mirror matchup, and also that means the scoreboard is all messed up, so I have to unscramble it to what I'm assuming are their matchups. Interestingly enough, red team is running triple TP, so whoever their ADC is, I'm waiting for this ADC to get out of the base. Is the Quinn gonna head top or bot? It's gonna be Sett ADC? It is gonna be Quinn ADC. Sett is going to run top lane. So it's gonna be a Sett mirror match top lane. Jungle is Amumu versus Kindred, which is another sign that points to this being not a rank game, because picking Kindred in the rank game is a reportable offense. It will get you permaban, don't do it. Mid lane is Cassiopeia versus Akali. Pretty fair matchup. And bot lane we have Lucian versus Quinn, and support Illaoi versus a support Lux. One barely viable support against Lux, I guess. So this will be an interesting match. The quality of the game may not be as high, but it will be entertaining, I'm sure. So, with the timeline turned off on the bottom, I can actually put some more space onto the screen without this timeline covering some things. So now I can actually see wider than I could before, which is good. Akali's not in the brush, so she just eats a fang to the face. And we're going to commence this laning phase with Akali tanking some free poke. Cassiopeia does have a pretty rough time in lane early on before she gets some mana. And top lane we have a punch off between two Dio players. I'm pretty sure this is probably both of their first time Dio, which is gonna be fun. But early on it's gonna be a CS fest. We're not gonna see a lot of aggression early on. And I hope directed camera does catch what I wanted to see most of the time. But for now, no one's actually fighting, except some minor trades going on here and there. Illaoi started Q first, and that's going to be a second point in E, from which the harassment can really start being laid down on the enemies. Mid lane, first to hit 2, going into Q, pushing the Akali into her wave. As expected, so Akali's going to have to farm under tower for a while, wait for a window to assassinate the Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia doesn't need to be careful. The mana bar is not infinite here, especially before tier and everything. Running out of mana can be pretty rough. Bot lane, the trading continues, and the first tentacle grab comes out, lands on Quinn with a double slam with a single Q. That's going to be a huge chunk out of the Quinn's house. Quinn drops to about 20-25%, so they have to back off. She does not have heal. That's going to make this lane a bit rough. Haymaker farming top lane, and we have Akali trying to jump onto the Cassiopeia, procs her passive, and shrouds in, and getting some good trades off. Directed camera is freaking out. It doesn't know where to see. But it seems like Akali will win that trade, and now the minion wave is being pushed back towards Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is now thoroughly out of mana. The Kindred mark is on her, but Kindred is going to go for the river mark. The scuttle has the top scuttle has been selected, which is fortunate because Kindred starts blue, and it's a 50-50 whether the top scuttle gets marked or bottom scuttle gets marked, and she seems to get lucky. She switches the mark to top lane, which tells me that she actually started the game marking the mid lane, which is objectively probably not the best target to mark early. You want to get lucky kills on the jungler, if anything, if you're trying to low percent. Some risky plays. Kindred marks Sett, but doesn't actually gank because the lane position is not good enough to gank. Facebreaker getting the first stun off. Blue team Sett drops to about half health. And Haymaker does return the damage. Sett's grit decays very fast, so you can't actually hold on to grit like any other resource. First blood followed by a flash, and then another clean kill by the Illaoi. So that's a 2v2 victory. Quinn does not have the heal to get her out of that situation, but Lucian did flash after a kill, thinking that wasn't enough to finish. But it doesn't even matter. They got the kill. That's all that matters. Like, yeah, Sett's grit decays so fast that you can't really just hold on to it as a resource. As soon as you stop taking damage, that thing just starts dropping. So it's not exactly a good strategy to hold on to grit. The best is just discharge Haymaker as soon as you have a decent bar. And that's how you at least salvage lost trades. The Lucian has back, leaving is just a single support Illaoi. Illaoi starts this trade at half health, but she will actually fight the Quinn. Quinn loses all the HP on her soul. She does flash in and get the kill after her, and the rest is just a frantic tentacle dodge for the next 5 seconds or so. She's not going to get slapped by a tentacle. She gets a kill on a support. It seems to have overstayed a bit, but she does leave herself at critical HP with no teleport, no heal, and you probably can't afford to leave the wave like this. So they have to endure Lucian coming back. Lucian can't really go on this yet, but the next minute or so is going to be brutal for the Quinn. The mark gets taken off on the top lane set. Facebreaker trades coming out. The second Haymaker comes out, winning the trade handily with a proper Haymaker timing compared to the red team, and this giant juicy wave is crashing into bot. We haven't seen mid in a while, but it's just boring people farming. Akali is leading with a decent CS advantage, and there is the solo kill on Quinn. Not the best place to be recalling, especially now with house like that. If she wanted to bash, she should have done this so long ago. So bot lane is holding a giant advantage. Let's take a look at the gold lead. 1,000 gold lead being accrued by Lucian, and 2,000 gold lead in general team-wise, half of which is coming from the bot lane. So the AD carry differential is really showing very early on in this game. Top lane is also very much a CS, the story told by CS difference. Blue team set is having a much better time at this. Already 2 waves ahead, 1.5 wave at least. Now Kindred has roamed her way to boss side, directed camera, pan down there, damn it. And the Mumu is following her close behind. She's just over the wall. She doesn't actually see the Mumu. There's no red team for her. She jumps down and the Mumu immediately grabs her. She doesn't have a jump back up for another 1 second. She does jump over. But that means her bot lane is now totally stranded. They extended upwards. Now they need to try to win the trade. Lucian is too low to continue fighting, so they will actually back off. An actually favorable trade for the red team if you ignore the fact that Kindred almost died. Both players now have vault in mid lane. Grounded comes down. Akali cannot dash. Ghost gets popped by the Cassiopeia. She follows up on the shuriken directly into Cassiopeia's face. Not the best place you want to be at. And she just dies because she took a shuriken that she really shouldn't have taken. And mid lane gets a solo kill. So now every lane is just brutally ahead. We can see now on the item differentials, Phage versus 2 longswords, which by the way, the enemy set got not the enemy set, the red team set got 2 longswords because he's wanting to go Tiamat first. Probably not the best idea against another melee matchup. The Phage is just so much better as a general item. Especially when you're behind too. What's the Tiamat gonna do for you? Another soul gets grabbed on Lux. Lux will counter with a light binding, but Illaoi can just shrug that damage off. She is just naturally tanky like that. And with the latest patch, support items also now give a butt ton of bonus health regen. So Illaoi can actually stomach these trades with tentacle heals as well. Lux completely out of mana. The Kindred mark is still placed on the Illaoi. Other Kindred should probably realize that at this present moment, Illaoi is probably the hardest person to kill in that lane. By a pretty significant margin. She has just a ton of innate sustain in her kit. The shuriken lands and she ducks into her smoke cloud. The mark will start slowly arming on the Cassiopeia, but it seems like this kill may be finished before Kindred gets down. A solo kill picked up by the Akali, ducking in and out of the smoke. Cassiopeia wandering inside for just a little bit too long, not being able to see her target, and just slowly gets chipped down and then eventually dropped. But it doesn't matter. Cassiopeia is back with now a tier, the Ruby Crystal and the Dark Seal. So that's some pretty decent sustain for lane. And now building up a very healthy mana pool for scaling. So the solo kill, kind of tragic, but ultimately not a big deal. Another soul gets grabbed by Quinn. Quinn tries to get out, but she already tanks so much free damage. Not having heal is really hurting her. That teleport heavily costing her. Kindred sneaks away the dragon because Amumu was not on the correct side of the map at this particular time. Kindred, being extremely awful, is one of the few champions that can handily solo dragon at level 4. She did it at level 5, but it's one thing that Kindred can't just do. And unfortunately, that's about the only good thing that Kindred can still do in this game. For almost everything else, she is just utter trash. A huge wave gets built up top, so that's going to be a ton of free money. This set has back. He actually pulled out a 3rd longsword instead of committing to any intermediate item path. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to get. He did finish his Tiamat first. And his second longsword, well, his third longsword, I suppose, probably going towards a Phage. Excellent bandit toss into the smoke, followed by immediate ultimate, rooting the Lux in place. Lux has to flash away. Here comes the Kindred for the save. Set does come in. He's level 8. He does have the ultimate. He doesn't really use it. He punches the Cassiopeia down first. He grabs the Illaoi and slams her away. And now it's all up to Illaoi. The Tentacle Sustain will buy her a little bit of time. Blue team set following up with the teleport. It might be a little bit too late. The fight is already almost over. Haymaker punches in the other direction. The grab slams Akali against the wall, finishing off the kill. And Set also gets stuck into the ground, as they say. So overall, pretty decent trade. That was a 2 for 3. So considering red team is actually quite behind, that was a pretty favorable trade. Set was the first, the red team set was first to teleport in, so that actually turned the fight in red team's favor and allowed them to pick up some key critical targets. Followed by the blue team set teleport to actually do some cleanup. Lucian tries to grieve for a plate. He will get red smited by Kindred and run down by the wolf, but the cavalry arrives at the opportune time and Lucian escapes. No major repercussions and he actually secures the plate. He is now more than doubling Quinn's CS and tripling her kill count. So he is now thoroughly ahead. Kindred jumps in solo. That camp wasn't even marked. Was it? No, wait, I don't think it was marked. No, it is marked. Never mind. But still. What the heck? Alright, well, some people just don't have brains. But that's okay. We call those people Kindred players. Top lane, still decently ahead. Looking forward to Black Cleaver completion pretty soon for blue team set. And red team set gonna mash it up with... I'm assuming that's not going towards a Titanic Hydro Rush. It's actually just going for a Phage and he's gonna build like a normal person would. So blue team set is actually quite a bit ahead on items. The Tiamat isn't really that useful at the particular moment in this matchup. So it's just looking at item completions. Kindle Gem is just a superior item in terms of the item parity on top lane. Mid lane, Lux has decided to lane mid because she has rightfully decided that Quinn is just absolute dead weight and just cannot be relied on whatsoever. She says as she just watches as Quinn lose a trade. Haymaker just barely misses. And blue team set will get away with her life. But here comes the Kindred coming in to clean up. Amumu is marked, but he is far too healthy to be taken down. Or is he? Kindred red smites him and with the burn damage takes down the mummy. And that was a clean 2-for-0 trade. Top lanes, the enemy set, the red team set, I rather picks up a solo kill. Picks up a solo kill. I'm assuming that was actually just a tower dive. But looking at the level lead now, I will be able to see it when the set actually respawns on blue team. They're up against a level 10 set and they are level 9. So there's a 1 level lead for the red team set. He's actually also going to take several plays. He doesn't get the third plate, but there's already 2 plays versus nothing. The push has actually looked into red team's favor. So if we check the gold now, actually, yeah, red team set is not now ahead by 300 gold just because of the plate differential. And that solo kill didn't hurt either. So now the lead on top lane actually swung the other way, which is pretty interesting. There comes a teleport bot lane, pretty far, way too far to actually join the fight at an opportune time. But now Akali and Kindred are positioning down here. Lux is nowhere to be seen. Here comes the Kindred coming in. Now they will turn with the Illaoi ultimate. The Kindred ult actually goes down, but Lucian steps out of it and gets dropped. And that is going to be one gank. Akali actually did teleport down for contribution as well. So the 3v2 playing out quite favorably. Returning to normal, as they say. Not much action now following that bot lane gank. Now we just have some standard trades going on top lane. A Black Cleaver completion is actually a minor power spike. And here comes the CC chain on Akali. That extension did not work out well for her at all. And that's going to be a good kill with a Fantastic follow-up gank by the Amumu. But here comes the Quinn. She doesn't actually get off the bird with the E first, so Amumu just walks away scot-free. Here comes the support Illaoi. That's enough to scare Quinn away. But that also gives them away the dragon position. The Vision Ward does see it. And this is going to be an uncontested dragon take. They could try, but this is suicide. They really should not try this. The single support Illaoi will be enough to zone. Haymakers being exchanged top lane. They're just playing a completely different game from the rest of the map. That's fine. Just standard top laner gameplay. Quinn gets on her bird. I actually have to pan the camera over. I want to see this. The Sky Strike doesn't actually catch anyone out. Alright, going back to directed camera. Kindra's soul gets grabbed. She does not have ultimate. She should really be careful. Tentacles are going to be spawning around her. Lucian gets picked up by the Quinn. He was hit by the binding and just dropped, I believe. I wasn't actually looking there. I was too busy looking at the Kindred, wondering what the hell she was doing over there. But the light binding actually picks up a fantastic kill. Quinn now has 4 kills to match Lucian's 3. This game has taken a very weird turn. But unfortunately, she took all of that hard-earned gold and spent it on Youmuu's, which is just about the last thing you will ever want to build on that champion. And if you disagree with me, you're just wrong on that. This is not the proper build that you expect from a Quinn. Nowadays, at least. Crit is just more superior. Kindred tries to take blue buff. It wasn't marked, but still, she just dies for it. And the Amumu will pick up, not the blue buff, will pick up a pretty good kill. Grounded comes out, but it's not enough to save her from the Akali just right beside her, chunking shurikens out over and over. And now, we have Quinn and Akali pushing out mid lane, uncontested. Light Binding will slow down Lucian, dissuade him from chasing down this kill. Amumu will try to come in and cover. He has Runic Echoes and nothing else. The Ninja Tabais will probably save him slightly, but it's not saving him from the chip damage that's being dealt to him by Quinn. He does desperately need additional tankiness. The damage route for him is probably not going to work out this game. He does have enough damage committed by the rest of his team. He just really needs to be a frontline. Lucian tries to engage, but here comes the cavalry. Quinn kicks him into the tower and blinds him. Lucian gets shot down by the tower, and Quinn picks up another kill onto the Lucian. So now she has grabbed a lot of gold, actually. She's catching up quite closely, despite being at a substantial CS deficit. She's only 700 gold behind the Lucian, which is not horrible, considering just how bad her lane went. The first turret goes down at 17 minutes and 30 seconds. That's how you know this game is truly a fiesta. But it's actually the enemy team, or as I suppose the red team. I keep saying enemy team because I'm biased. It's actually the red team set that picks up this first tower. And now they're pretty much evenly matched on items, actually. It's quite symmetrical to look at. He has extended this top lane gold lead to about 500, which is decent for a mirror matchup. And I think most of it is actually owed to that one TP play he made. Arriving there earlier than the blue team can make their rotation and picking up an extra critical kill. And actually this snowball from there. There was probably a decently fortunate solo kill added into there as well. But everything just started adding up. You know, the plate differential, the TP, as well as that one solo kill. But it doesn't mean that the other set is out of it. This is still very much completely even as far as most things are concerned. So you're just going to have two Dios fighting it out on the top lane for the foreseeable future. Zed has killed the tower, but he doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The soul gets pulled out from Lux. She gets slammed, and the tentacles are going to start slapping her now. A solo kill is going down from the Quinn. Very questionable flash. Where was she going? But here comes the set. He's going to flash in, but he doesn't actually commit the ult from a flash in. So that's just a waste of flash. But Lucian runs in the Kindred. But here's the unfortunate part. Set gets no credit. The light binding goes out on the Amumu. The turret is heating up on him. A very, very fortunate light binding and a very unlucky Amumu. Illaoi slams the ground and tentacles pop out, but immediately gets dropped and nothing happens. And here comes the slam from Set, nailing Cassiopeia onto the ground. That is now a 4-for-1 overall on this map play in a single fight, stretching out from bot to mid. The only survivor is the top lane Sett. Now, the red team Sett will now give pursuit to fight his mirror opponent. Meanwhile, mid lane looks like it's going to get taken out. The red team still holds a gold deficit, but that is not long for this world. They have pulled the deficit down to as little, I suppose, as 300 gold apart. And now it is perfectly tied. An excellent mid game here coming out from red team, just picking up good fights, picking off lonely members and transitioning that into just one team fights. But this game is not over yet. The game has swung to even, but that just means it's a fair fight. Blue team is still riding off their superior laning advantages, trying to make this team fight happen. Kindred outbites her sometime and she will flash out, but she walks too far from the soul, so now the soul has been lashed to her. The slow is enough for the Lucian to flash in and give chase. A double kill picked up by the Lucian, and all of that advantage the red team has accrued is just now evaporating. Lucian gets a solo, well, not the solo, but the triple kill rather. Sett grabs basically nothing and slams into the wall with just his fist, but now he's going to try to chase down the Lucian with a quadra kill. Haymaker takes him down and denies him the penta, but here comes the Sett, the full grit, not being able to expend it into a Haymaker due to cooldowns, and here comes the Illaoi, but the Illaoi cannot possibly beat this Sett, especially not when she's tanking tower, so the quadra kill gets returned likewise with a triple. But still a net positive play for blue team, picking up a valuable quadra kill on their carry player, as well as pushing down the mid tier 1 and now laying siege to mid tier 2. A lonely Sett fighting it out, getting a triple kill to salvage the situation. But it was only that, a salvage. Kindred is being poisoned. Poison's taking down on her, but will not take her life because Miasma basically does no damage. Here comes the Lux Laser. The Ludens barely almost kills the Cassiopeia. She just barely gets out by the skin of her teeth. And this is looking to be a reset. And the next objective has come up. It is in fact Dragon. We have Inferno versus Mountain Ocean. A lot of tankiness is to stay on one side and basically nothing on the other. In this Mountain Rift though, it will greatly favor either, well, honestly blue team will love it way more, but it honestly favors either team in this situation. Here comes the Quinn. The kick, long range kick lands. Lucian pops the cleanse and tries to run away, but it will not be enough. Quinn picks up a solo kill from the blind and the kick. Sett comes in with a Haymaker, but doesn't actually land anything, so once again he gets no credit for presence. But 5-1-1, he's doing quite well for himself. Already upgraded his kit to contain a Jarum's Fist, so you know that Titanic Hydra is coming up anytime now. He's actually pulled ahead in item differential. Blue team Sett does not have his Jarum's Fist quite yet. So the lane advantage has actually slowly started to transition to tiny item leads, but it's definitely on the verge of snowballing. The Quinn is actually equally fed than the Lucian. She's building gold efficient items. She doesn't need to spend that much gold to get an immediate power spike, and using this power spike, she's actually outputting a decent amount of damage. Now this build is definitely not going to be enough to fight Lucian late game, especially, this seems kind of sad to say because Lucian doesn't have the best late game of all the ADCs. But it's still more than enough to outscale this Quinn build. She really does need to utilize this lead, but here comes the Illaoi, the double Sett slam. Sett slamming away a Mumu being slammed away by another Sett, and now it's just one Kindred. She will try to pop the Q. She's walking around the wall, not knowing what to do. Bandit shots lands on her, Haymaker goes down, but she pops the Lamb's Respite and will buy her a little bit of time. Excellent hop on the other side, but the equally excellent bandage toss matching her escape attempt and just taking her down for a excellent 3-for-0 trade. The scrappiness is swinging either way this game. Once you have a red team win into a blue team win, and it just keeps going back and forth. Lucian just does not care. He takes down the tower with the Kali scratching him all the whole way through, but the Kali actually just dies, overextending for a kill that is far past its expiration date. She was not picking that up, having expended basically all of her major cooldowns, and still have Lucian take the tower from under her. That's gotta be demoralizing. But here comes the Quinn. She does have her power spike, and it's a support Illaoi. The tentacles do sustain, but doesn't sustain for nearly enough, chunking 2 members to half, but that doesn't count for Diddly Squat. They're all going to reset. Very, very exciting and action-packed game. Basically what most people will call it a fiesta. Kindred will grab her blue buff away from the Lucian. He will try to contest, but it's not going to happen. It's actually a surprisingly even game, despite that blue team once again has the gold lead. The next fight could really swing anywhere. All it takes is one unfortunate pick onto a carry, one good assassination, one good set slam, one good Akali jump. Anything could win the next team fight. It's all about execution. This gold differential actually doesn't matter given the nature of the champions that the red team has selected. All it takes is just one catch, and they can swing this game right back. But the same is true for blue team. They have excellent team fighting power right now. And in a straight up 5v5, they can actually just steamroll over red team. The next team fight will be critical to determine where the rest of this game will go. Now blue team doing the smart thing, realizing that they're stronger together, grouping up as 5 and laying siege, forcing the red team to fight them in the open, fight them 5-on-5, no tricks, no pickoffs, no solo kills. Come fight our whole team if you think you can. The red team, realizing that they cannot possibly take this core, the 5-man core of blue team, backs off, surrendering wave after wave. Now they're slowly trying to push back up. Illaoi gets picked off. Quinn extends forward, but Stacks Gage buys some time. Here comes the 3-man ultimate from Amumu. Kindred immediately pops the ultimate in response, but the damage has been done. Everyone on red team is chunked. They can't survive here. They must run. With 2 members run and 3 members go back in. So this is going to be a slaughter for the blue team. Plowing down 4 members, and now the last member, Kindred, may not be long for this world, but the slow has landed on Set, and she's going to walk away. Well, extremely kiteable champion. So once he cannot catch the, once Set cannot catch a Kindred, Kindred will just get out for free. Overall, a 4-for-2 team fight, starting off as a pick on the blue team support, but unfortunately the initial burst that they dumped onto the support was not enough to actually immediately kill them. So the fight actually turned the other way when members were split in half between retreating and continuing to fight. So terrible team fighting for red team, leading up to a loss. The gold lead has extended by about 1,000 more than it was before. Youmuu's gets popped. Quinn walks in, gets on top of grounded, can't even vault out or anything. That's just straight up inting. Kindred comes in, realizing she's equally squishy and with no ultimate. Laser hitting absolutely nothing. Here comes the Set. He flashes in to try to grab at the Lucian. He doesn't have the ultimate. Haymaker barely misses. Here comes the blue team Set to contest. Now it's just a Lux and a Set. The Set gets slammed into 4 people. That's going to be the end of him. And Akali gets solo killed by the Amumu, running at her with a Rylai's, slowing her and crying her to death, which is just an embarrassing way to go. Once again, a 4-for-0. Red team was a highly scattered engage into a fight that they had no business taking. Blue team takes up the 3rd dragon blue team picks up their 3rd dragon and 4 kills on top of it. And now the game is slowly starting to balloon out of control. Red team agrees. They actually surrender, realizing that their power spike was actually not enough to serve them in the long run, and ultimately they just have to bow out.